Happy Friday. It's just after 3 p.m. here in New York City. I'm Kevin Kenny. This is the Build series, and we are wrapping things up this week with the artist behind the multi-platinum smash hit Lights Down Low. Yeah. He has over 500 million streams. Can you believe that? 500 million streams for his music around the world, and he is back with even more new music to share with you. Please give it up for Max.
Thanks, guys.
That might be a Build first. They always wait for the name, but they're just so excited to see you, man.
I got so much fam in the building, baby. I love it.
Crazy.
It's all the people. Welcome new friends and old friends alike.
Yeah, a lot of old friends because we got merch. We got a Max beanie. I saw a Max shirt back there. Yeah, there you go. Max hoodie, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I love my people. And,
you're a booming business, Max.
You know, it's just more about always just people who connect with it, which is beautiful. So.
Yeah, there is something about like your music, of course, but like even like the vocals, man. Like, I can just tell you mean it.
I try to mean it all, of course. Yeah, it's.
I mean,
I can't BS. I can't lie. So I just keep it very transparent and hope people.
Is there a trick?
Enjoy that.
That authenticity, or is it there's just like it's magic you can't just fake?
I think I definitely fight for it. You know, it's something that I think in a lot of music and whatever else. I feel like people are constantly trying to tell you, oh, if you do this, people will be into you more. Right. Or if you don't say you're married, people will be into you more. All those kinds of things I deal with on a daily basis. It definitely is a fight to stay as true to my message and vision as possible, but it's always worth it. And the fight, it never stops, and it's always worth it, yeah.
Isn't it kind of ironic, and if this isn't true, correct me, but it almost feels like when you stopped listening to all those people telling you all these things you had to be that weren't really you, when you finally just embraced your true self, that's when things just start exploding.
Totally, and it feels the best. I mean, you're the most proud of it. And I've made those mistakes. I've definitely listened to the powers that be for certain things, and they're like, oh, if you do this music video and people will love it, and then it doesn't mean anything, and then I don't care about it, and then it's a good learning lesson to know that those things are never worth it. No matter how many times you're like, oh, this person knows best. They don't know best. You got to do what's true to you.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, didn't they tell you like to date certain people or something? Like it's wild how it works.
Yeah. You know, it's with Lights Down Low, which is probably the song most people know. I fought for it the most out of anything in my entire life. You know, I wrote it for my wife. I proposed to her with it, and the powers that be at the time were like, oh no, you got to be a single 20-something, you know, pop guy. Right. You can't be married or be in a healthy relationship. Like, people don't want that. And it's interesting, as a society, we want to know who Taylor Swift dates, and we want to know these things, and we do. I feed into it. I'm like, oh, who's she dating now? But in the end, I just realized I found my soulmate, and I didn't want to hide her. I didn't want to not tell that story of that song, and so it's never worth it to hide it.
Yeah, and you got a bunch of platinum plaques now, to its credit. So
which is
congratulations.
Cute. Thanks,
very
brother.
nice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, please.
It allows her to buy shoes and stuff, so I appreciate it.
Lights Down Low, we had Nash on the show a couple months ago now. 2019 is flying by. Mm-hmm. But he hopped on the record, and it means a great deal to him, too. Can you just talk about working with him really quick?
Yeah, you know, he was a friend of mine first, and I told him the story of writing it for Emily and all of the things behind it, and before everybody else knew, and he immediately responded to that, which was cool, and he wrote the verse that you hear on the song the same day I sent it to him, and sometimes things just happen like lightning like that, and it's been beautiful to build it together.
If I can embarrass Max for just a quick second, or make him blush,
always embarrass,
or make him blush, maybe. You are such a great testament. You remember that old adage like our parents would tell us when we were little, like it's not about what you say to people that they'll remember, they'll just remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
They said it far more eloquent than I just did.
That was beautiful.
But you are such a testament to that, because I remember you came on the old Billboard live show I used to do, and I don't remember what the heck we talked about. You were probably talking about Lights Down Low at the time, but I just remember being like, dude, that guy is such a great vibe. He's so positive, such a party, and he's a hell of a dresser. Do we have that picture up?
Thanks, Ed. Oh, man,
I was actually really excited to see what you were going to wear.
Oh, my gosh. There you go.
I mean, this is like, it's got to be a custom piece.
This was one of my wife made this, which was cute. It was a Dusty Wink original.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got some Dusty Wink fans. Yes. Yeah. That was a fun time.
That's awesome, man. I mean, how do you like approach fashion? Like, how does that play into everything? Because obviously we're gonna get to this like new era, this new aesthetic, but you strike me as a guy that thinks a lot about how you present yourself artistically.
I'm a hot mess, honestly. It's really without.
It's a well put together hot mess, man.
And it was in a bag for me from my wife. Like, don't screw this up. The jacket is in the closet when you get to New York. You know, the whole thing. So I really, you know, she's my partner in that way, and she definitely brought it. Before her, I was definitely a just dressed in all black kind of guy, whatever's around, dirty hoodies, all that stuff. And she definitely brought the fashion out of me.
Do you ever feel pressure to be that positive guy? Because you're sort of known throughout the music industry as just this source of sunshine, this source of positivity. if you're having a bad day, like how do you take it up a notch? How do you get in the right mindset?
I just try to keep it real, man. I have bad days all the time, and at least I guess my whole vibe of it, like for example, for these last few months, I went through this thing where I had this surgery. I couldn't speak for 4 months, and it was definitely the most depressed I've ever been. And going through that, I realized every day didn't even want to get out of bed, and all the things you feel when you're depressed. But I guess through trauma, you also realize, well, I literally am only going to be alive for however much time, and every day truly is. Like, if you go into a day trying to enjoy it the most you can, that's what I try to do. And I definitely don't try to act, if I'm having a bad day, I don't try to act like I'm not having a bad day, I guess. And a beautiful thing is, like, with the internet and stuff, sometimes I'll just tweet something. Like, I've been getting a lot of negative energy recently for some reason, so there's some expletives in it, but I tweeted something today about negative people and how we don't need those, F off and have a nice day kind of thing.
You're a real dude, man,
I try to
for
be.
better, for worse, I dig that.
True, yeah.
The world needs more of them. Yeah, I like that.
My man.
It's like a collective soul, yeah. So let's talk about this new era, man. You're rocking the whole yellow vibe. We got even some fans in yellow here.
Yellow, baby, I see you, I see you.
You got the memo.
Yes.
Talk to me about why yellow, first of all, and then we'll get into the new era.
Yeah, I woke up one day, and right when I was like starting to dive in more into the new album, the new music, I just knew it was it. It was one of those moments again where I fought for it, and I told the people that I work with, like, everything has to be yellow. I just want to commit to it. I love a theme with it. And I guess it's a color that, again, reminds me, like what we're saying, I'd love people to get from this new music that energy, that positive world and vibe, and that's what this color says to me. And it's also fun. I find, like, I see yellow everywhere now. Like, if I see that one fun piece in a place, I'm like, oh, snap, those yellow docs are tight. I'm going to buy them right now. So it makes shopping easier, for sure, to keep it yellow. But I guess I wanted a color to really represent the message in the world I'd love to create with this new record and new music.
Is it almost like a synesthesia? Am I saying that right? The when you can actually see colors when you hear music?
I don't have that specifically, but
Right.
I'd love it to be that.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I always love records and eras of an artist or band where you can really think back and think of a color palette.
Yeah.
And that was really, I hope that people with synesthesia feel the yellow throughout the different songs.
Yeah, and eras are just so fun because, as you grow older, you remember it as an era in your own life, right?
Exactly.
You attach it to a time in your life. You shot the visuals for the new song with Quinn, on Tuesday, I think?
Yeah, we
When'd
just
you
shot the
do
music
that?
video. Comes out in a few weeks. That Lemonade video is not the music video. I just wanted to make Lemonade and have the song play, I figured. I felt like that was probably a
Well,
cute
that's
thing
you,
to
though,
do.
at the end of the day.
It is
the
me.
whole, take lemons and make lemonade.
It's straight. I just needed to make the cliche of it in a little lightning bolt, like, let it fuel your world. Don't
There's
let
something
it destroy
soothing
you.
about it, just watching Max make lemonade.
Dude, when I showed, like, my partner Ryan, my best friend, he looked at the video, he was like, what was the point of that? And I was like, that's right, exactly. What? Exactly. I needed some yellow. Anyway.
Walk us through, if you don't mind, the concept of the video and what we can expect.
Ooh, the new one? Yeah. I went real hard on it, for sure.
Okay.
It reminded, like, with the Lights Down Low video, I spent so much time with the director, writing the treatment and everything. The same with this video. This specific song was inspired by a time, it was shortly after I got married, and I had this ex who was, I don't want to call her a crazy ex, that's not nice, and my wife's like, stop calling her a crazy ex, that's not nice, but she was a very unhappy ex.
An irrational ex.
She was very unhappy, and my wife is from England, and she threatened to try to get her deported. It was like a real intense moment.
In hopes of getting you back.
I don't know. It was just mean. I was like, are you crazy? Like, don't say that. So this video is a little inspired by that world of a story of leaving a toxic relationship and all of the things that maybe someone hates you for, like tries to change about you in a relationship, whether you're a hot mess like me, I'm messy as hell, or whatever else. And it sort of shows the difference of when, you find that right person or the people in your life that love you for those things that make you kind of a strange, weirdo, hot mess, whatever you are. Because those are the people you want in your life, not the people trying to change you every day.
No.
So that's the video. It's kind of
Amen.
Yeah. It's good. I'm excited for people to see it. It's a different style, and it's definitely like kind of Wes Anderson music video meets like one of my strange music videos.
Okay, you have my attention now.
Oh, I hope you like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Is there a release date? Can you tease that?
Oh yeah, for the music video.
For the music video.
April 26th, I think so. A few weeks. Yeah.
Nice. It's coming.
Pretty soon. Yes.
Yeah. Hurry up,
It's gonna be crazy.
editors.
Let's go. I know. Getting those final edits.
How did we were talking about Nash before, but you collabed with Quinn, 92.
Yeah, he's amazing, man.
How did he become a part of the project?
We had these mutual producers that I work with. These guys are Modern Roger. They played him the song one day. He loved it. He texted me. He's like, "Are you down to make this a feature collab?"
So he was proactive.
Yeah, he
That's
said it
pretty
to me.
cool.
He was like, "I love this song. Like, can I maybe try something?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, you could try something." And he did, and I was obsessed with it right away.
Have you ever done that with a song? Like, what's the etiquette as an artist? Like, is that almost like encroaching, like inviting yourself to somebody else's party? Like, hey.
I mean, I was honored that he was into it.
Oh, of
I
course.
didn't even think about him being on the song, which was really cool because I was like, I was thinking about a female feature to have that side. But the second I heard his story, I was like, oh, this is such a different story to mine. And sort of having two like male voices on it is something a little more out there than I expected, which I was excited about.
Did he confide in you at all? Like, did he relate to it? Does he have a crazy ex?
No, I don't know if he has a career. We didn't talk about that. But I guess his was more about like his crazy college days and like he's about to get married next month. And so we just had sort of that mutual understanding. We're literally a month apart in age and we've sort of had a similar grind. I feel like we both have been grinding in the music game for a long time and sort of just staying on that steady trajectory, never really hitting a certain place, but just giving everything we got to it.
Well, let's talk about the certain place because I know MSG is like it for you.
For sure.
Yeah. And you've also said recently that you used to be far more of a particular artist when you were younger.
I don't know. I guess.
Or do you find yourself maybe I misheard you? Do you find yourself just as specific in particular now as you did earlier?
Oh, way more so. I would say more so.
Really?
I'm like obsessed with every piece of everything that goes into it. Like every video, every look, every song. I just feel like there's so much out there that the artists I love the most are always obsessed with every piece. They don't let something slide. The details are everything.
Oh yeah.
And that always excites me. You know, again, like with the Lights Down Low video, salt lamps are a big thing in my life. I have like 1 million around my house, and there's a salt lamp theme throughout the videos. And maybe nobody ever notices that, but if you notice at the end of the official video that the same couple from the audio video moves in after we pass away, and the salt lamp is remaining, like those little pieces that I can look back on when I'm 80 excite me. And so I'm always trying to find those particular details that I can have someone really find in a little mysterious treasure hunt.
Yeah. Let me ask you a possibly heavy question. What if MSG never happens? Have
That's
you thought
cool.
about that?
Honestly, I mean, it's going to happen because I'm going to work for it. I know I will. And I think if you work for anything hard enough and you don't give up, I can't tell you how many times I feel like I'm going to quit. Like, I wake up and I'm like, damn, this guy just blew up overnight, and I've known him for like a week or anything like that. Yeah. And it's tough because I think you can't compare yourself. It's so hard. I tell it to myself every day. The more you compare yourself, the less happy you're going to be. Yeah. And your world is very different than anybody else's. And if they get there quicker than you, they might fall quicker than you. You shouldn't wish for that, but at the same time, you got to be happy for their journey. And so I guess point being, I won't stop until I get there. Right. And there's the plan A always. But on the other end, I also, as long as I am fulfilled in my personal life and with fans, as long as I'm putting out what I'm proud of and people connect to it, that's real. Everybody asks like the 5 or 10 year plan. That's all I hope. I never want to put something out that I'm not proud of just so that it becomes a big hit or whatever else. And that's going to fulfill me more than any 20,000 stadium could, you know?
Yeah. You're so fascinating, though, as an artist, because it's so rare to hear somebody have these grandiose dreams of a Madison Square Garden, but then also be super content and satisfied with what you have right now. Or appreciative, maybe. Maybe not satisfied, but appreciative of what you have now. That's really healthy of you.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always sort of been that way, but yeah, I think anytime you go through an intense trauma, if you have a big health thing in your life or you have someone pass away, it definitely gives you perspective. And I think especially in the last few months after going through what I went through, it's given me that perspective to try to just, not be satisfied, like you said, but be appreciative of the great things that are already there, because you'll never be happy if you don't appreciate those things.
So when you couldn't sing for 4 months, what replaced that? Did you discover a new passion or interest?
I wrote in a journal a lot, you know. I tried to find as much as I could. I literally, a lot of people in this room I communicated with me via phone. Like, I'd be at shows and I couldn't speak, and I have this app on my phone, and it was rough. I learned sign language a little bit, you know. I guess I just learned to listen more. That was a big thing. I listened to so many stories, more than I ever had. And that was the biggest thing that came out of that time. And I carry it with me every day.
You're great with your fans. I mean, that goes without saying, but you also FaceTime your fans?
Yeah, I like finding little personal things, you know, no matter how big that audience gets. I think it's important to like have that personal connection, because those numbers that you see on Twitter or Instagram or all that stuff, that's a series of singular people that care about your thing.
Oh, totally.
And so it's always fun to find like a really unique personal way of being able to say like, oh, what's up? What's your story?
Yeah.
And I did it the other day for the first time ever. And there was this one dude who was literally building houses for Habitat of Humanity. He's like, oh, what's up, man? I'm doing this. I promise I didn't plan this. And he's becoming a doctor. And what a cool thing to know that that music means something to that specific person's story. And that always inspires me to write more vulnerable stories for those people.
What's like the most awkward FaceTime that you've ever had?
There
had to be one, right? Do you tell these people you're FaceTiming them, or you just pop up?
Sometimes I just pop up.
Okay.
Sometimes like if I have like a road trip to a show and I have like an hour in the car, I'll do it. It's hard to like schedule it out. So it's kind of fun to just like, hey, where are you at right now? Can I just FaceTime you? But luckily, honestly, I haven't had too many awkward ones. Sometimes I did, with that one guy, there were a bunch of girls in the background who were working too, and I did the Nickelodeon thing for a while with like rags and stuff. And they're like, oh, where's Keke Palmer? Like, what's going on? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. She's not here. Wouldn't that be funny if she were in the car? But she wasn't. So it was.
I feel like you can't be awkward with you because you just roll with the punches so well. You know what I mean?
I try to, man. I try to. But at the same time, I think it's interesting. I think there's a fine, I always promote kindness, but don't let people walk all over you. I've got like a real Gemini dark side when people mess with me, man.
Ooh.
That's the one thing. It's like if someone messes with me and they're like being disrespectful, I'm gonna call you out. You know what I mean?
Can I talk to you about somebody you called out recently?
Yeah.
This is great. This is juicy stuff. We have a tweet of yours
Oh, okay.
that is so great, but it's so true too.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll never forget two of my favorite artists. One was a complete dick to me, and one was the kindest guy ever. Who are these people?
I can't tell you who the jerk was.
Give us like a little sexy hint.
This
of who
is
the
the
dick
internet
was.
lasts forever because I've been asked about this specific tweet so many times.
Oh, I bet
now,
it's so
which is
good. This is like what we want to hear.
The nice person was Ed Sheeran. He was the coolest guy. I met him at one of his first shows, opening for Snow Patrol back in the day. Saw him backstage.
You were at
Huge
that
fan of-
tour.
I went
because now he brought
That's an OG
them back
right there.
out as an opening act.
Oh, I know.
Think?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
And so I went to the show. We went to see him, and then we left after his set, which was kind of, now that I've opened so many times, I'm like, nah, you should stay for all the sets, you know? Always stay for all the sets. People work hard.
Yeah.
But I left, and he happened to be standing outside, and my friends and I went up to him. It was at the Palladium in California.
Okay.
I go up to him, and we're like, hey, man, that was a great show. Like, and he's like, hey, you guys want to come to the bar later? Like, how old are you? And we were a little young. We were like 19 at the time. We're like, oh, we don't have fake IDs or anything. Sorry. Like, I can't believe you're inviting us. And he was so nice. And then I've met him like 4 other times throughout my career. He's always remembered. He's always been kind. He's always taken the time. And it blows me away that he was opening for Snow Patrol. He's the biggest artist in the world right now. Never changed. And that's something that inspires me every day. The other guy was at a gym. I went up to him, and I was like 17, and I was just really excited. And I didn't want to bother him. I was really respectful. And I went up, I was like, hey, man, I just want to say I love your music. Sorry to bother you. He was like, don't ever bother me at this gym again.
Wow.
Oh, it sucked my heart. I was like,
So it was 50 Cent.
I'm not telling you who it was. I'm not going to make that mistake. But it did hurt me, and I'll never forget that, because if someone comes up to me, even if I'm tired, it's 6 a.m. on a flight, whatever else, I can't speak, I'm reminded of that moment, and I'm reminded that even if I'm having a bad day, I don't have to fake being nice to someone, but just be kind. I think kindness is different than pretending you're happy. Yeah. And I try to always at least like give a hug or take a picture, even if I'm not having a good day, because I'll never forget that artist ruined me. Like, I never wanted to listen to his music again. I worshiped this guy. I worshiped him. He said that to me. I was like, dude.
Well, I won't name any names since you're not naming any names, Max. But I have the same thing sometimes when people come on the show, and you're like, dude, I love that. I can't enjoy the record because they were a dick. You know what I mean?
There's just no need for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless someone's a jerk to you, I don't think there's no reason to be a jerk to them, you know?
Do you always, like, if somebody just comes up to you on the street, like, or like, hey, Max, or whatever, do you always recognize, oh, this is a fan moment? Or do you ever get, like, a little, like, taken back, like, hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Sometimes it's both. I try not to embarrass myself to think it's a fan moment. Like, I actually had one last night where I played a gig. I'm outside. The opening band comes up. They're like, hey, can we take a picture? And that's how they phrased it, by the way. And I was like, I'm a little sick, but like, yeah, of course we could take a picture. And they were like, I meant of us. Like, can you take a picture of us? Yeah, but what a way to phrase it. Like, can we take a picture? Not like, hey, can you take a picture for us? So I was a little embarrassed, and I was like, oh, yeah, what's good? Here's 3 photos, bye. I did the stream. I was like, don't ask me for another one. Here you go. Here's 7. So yeah, sometimes I embarrass myself, but most of the time, I think what you put into this world is what you get back, and luckily, I'm really grateful that the fans I've garnered are dedicated and kind. They realize that's what I'm putting out there, and they give it to me, which I'm very grateful for.
Right. And that's why I can still enjoy his music. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet, I hope so.
Let's get to some audience questions. The first is going to come from right over here in the second row. What's your name? Where are you from, man?
My name's Grant. I'm from New Jersey.
What's up, brother?
So my question is, you were very open last year on social media about your vocal injury and everything. So my question is, are you back at 100% now? And do you feel like you've had to change anything while doing live shows or before, as prep for live shows?
It's a great question. I think, it's something that a lot of vocalists don't talk about, but we are vocal athletes. We do shows every day. Just like a basketball player, when they get an injury, we're like, oh, snap, that sucks. But like, oh, he tore his ACL, like, he'll get back to it or he won't. So in that way, I definitely take a lot more precautions now. I'm definitely back to 100% vocally singing-wise, which I'm so grateful for. But that being said, it's an ongoing thing forever, so I don't get back to that place. So I still don't talk a lot, like after shows. I stay silent, things like that. I just take a lot more precautions and try to avoid it for the future. Thanks, baby.
Good question.
Looking good.
Shout out Jersey. Let's get to our second question. It's coming from right up front. What's your name?
Destiny McClinton.
Yes, Destiny Slay.
What's your middle name?
Hi, my question was that when you made that song, "The Other Side" with Ty Dolla $ign, how did you feel? Were you happy?
Oh, it's so cool. Thank you. Great question. Yeah. I did the remake on the Greatest Showman record with Ty Dolla $ign, which was the last place I thought I would collaborate with specifically Ty Dolla $ign on a remake of The Greatest Showman. But it was pretty great. But it was amazing. They literally said to me, they were like, hey, his vocals are already on the record. Do you want to put yours out too? I was like, absolutely, yes. And it was so cool. I haven't met him in person, which is one of those funny things when you record something and never meet the person. But I was super happy with how it turned out. And he's a great singer. I was like, Ty Dolla $ign. Okay. Let's hear more of that, baby.
Great question. Let's get to the next one over here.
Hi, I'm Yadi. Thanks for repping New York City, New York City. Favorite
Always,
city.
baby. New York forever. Still New York.
And what's your songwriting process like on the road versus like, in the hometown, New York City with the squad,
Great question. I'm always trying to put little ideas together when I'm out on the road. I like voice memo a few little things if it comes to me in the middle of the night and whatever else. I love to collaborate with other people, so I'll get a song together or I put a chorus together, and then I bring it to like producers that I work with and we write it all together, which is always fun. But it'll either be a title hits me, an experience happens, a song I start writing, but usually it starts with a story, whatever it happens, and I try to consolidate that into a full idea of a song.
Okay, thanks.
Yes,
Great
looking
question.
good in the yellow, slay boo boo.
New York, yellow. They're on a roll. All right, final question is going to come from right over here. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi.
So I actually used to watch a lot of your YouTube covers from like 09, 10. I wanted to know if you had any plans on collaborating with Nick Polios.
What a wild question. That's awesome. Yeah, Nick and I grew up together. We did our first band together when we were at camp, and he's a little cutie Greek boy, and I love him. And I think he's playing for Miguel right now, so he's still slaying. He's doing his thing. But yeah, we gotta get back together. We had a little falling out, but I love him always, and we gotta do more. And thanks for being a real OG. I've been meeting a lot of the like OG YouTube cover fans today, which is rad. It's cool that people come from so many different worlds and stick together. So thanks for staying with me, Allie. Slay.
Great questions today.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for your fans?
I say HKA, like it's like the Hell's Kitchen Angels, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
Repping New York forever, baby.
Yeah,
Hell's
yeah,
Kitchen.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's why I rep it here, because you look around this room and it's such a diverse, beautiful room, and
Yeah.
I think I've been very grateful to travel to so many places now, and that's something very important for me to put that acceptance, respect, fighting for people, whether they're gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, black, white, whatever else. I think it's really important that we love people just across the board, and that's what New York is, man. You walk
Yeah.
outside, you get hit with every single person in the world, and there's a beauty in that, and I think I want the rest of the world to be like New York.
Hell yeah.
But the rest of the world's cool too. But you know,
Yeah.
yeah, we live in a cool place. This is awesome.
We're running out of time here, but I did want to kind of talk about the album.
Oh yeah, it's
you
coming.
mentioned like a time frame upstairs. Am I allowed to say that? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, so like September, I think we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a little ways, but it's gonna come up real quick.
This is a great color for September.
Thanks, man. It feels right,
You know?
right? It's like it feels nice.
Ushering us into autumn there.
That's what I'm trying to do, baby.
Well, that's really cool.
what
Anything
I'm
else
trying to
that's
do.
coming up that's
Gosh,
exciting we can
no,
share?
yeah, no. The video in a few weeks. Got some more songs
April
and
26th.
yes, boy, it's gonna be a delightful new electrifying era. So thanks for sticking with me.
Guys, one more time. How great is Max?
Thank you.